Hello, welcome to the top 10 greatest films of all time. Today I'm going to be discussing my top 10 favorite films of all time, and to get something out of the way, I'm going to say the criteria for this video is if a movie on this list is in a franchise, only one movie in that franchise can be on the list. So say for example, I'm a huge fan of, let's say, The Lion King, um, and I want to put like all the other weird like little spin-off movies in there. If they're in my top 10, I can only put obviously The Lion King is the best of those I think 3 movies. So Lion King would be on the list. So let's get right into it. Oh, and there's going to be minor spoilers for each of these films. Um, so I'm going to give a little bit of a pause in between each film, and if you hear a film and you haven't watched it and you don't want to have any spoilers, and the spoilers to me are kind of just going to be, I'm not going to go into exact plot details necessarily, except for maybe some of the older ones that like basically everyone should have watched by now. I'm not going to go into huge plot details or anything like, oh, this person kills that person at the end. What? Or, oh my gosh, they didn't die, or whatever, and whatever movie. I will, however, be going over the emotions I experienced throughout the film, which are necessary. They're integral to the plot. Plot points are integral to my emotional experience through the movie that I will have to mention to talk about how much I like the movie. So we're gonna start the list hot at number 10. One movie that many consider to be the greatest film of all time. I have The Godfather Part One. I believe the Part One's better than Part Two. It's been a really long time since I've watched Godfather, so it might actually be higher on this list. However, from my memory, I remember really, really, really enjoying this film. I think it's really it is really well written. The acting is phenomenal in this film, and it tells, honestly, a pretty beautiful mob story. It's definitely the best mob movie, in my opinion. It's better than Good. Well, I guess I'm spoiling what won't be on the list. It's better than Goodfellas for sure. Um, it was just a fantastic film with amazing writing. The story of Michael Corleone, kind of just being like a regular guy like me who wouldn't want to get involved in mob work, and then seeing his like transformation throughout the film. Um, really incredible movie. Please watch this movie if you never have, and then watch Part 2. And then watch Part 3 if you want to be a little disappointed, according to many people. Number 9, I think this is truly underrated film. Everybody's watched this film, to be honest, but I think it doesn't get the respect that it necessarily deserves. Number 9, oh, it's also Jim Carrey's best work. Number 9 comes The Truman Show. I think this film is perfect. This film has no flaws to it. I really wouldn't change much of anything about this film after it. If I had to direct it and redo the movie, I'd just give them the movie and say, "Here you go, you did it right." There's nothing I'd change about it. The story is fantastic. It's emotional. It appeals to the sense of almost wonder and like am I in a TV show or whatnot, in your child's mind, like your childhood mind. And it also just Jim Carrey plays he acts really well in this film, and just captivates you, and you don't know what's going to happen in this film. Will he escape? Will he not? And then near the end of the film, it's kind of left up like what happens after that. And the ending, minor spoilers here, so just cover your ears. Actually, pretty big spoilers, so cover your ears real quick. But the ending where everyone just moves on with their life after, just entirely encapsulates the entire human experience. Everyone cares. Everyone cares until they don't. They stop caring immediately, and I think it just really captures how society is in life. So number 9 comes The Truman Show. Number 8, I was debating on putting this higher or a little bit lower. It's been a while since I've watched this film as well. However, this film is the perfect film in my opinion. For me, it's catered perfectly to me. Number 8 comes Oppenheimer. The story of Oppenheimer in general is just really interesting to me. I love nuclear power. I love nuclear bombs. I love nuclear energy. I love nuclear everything. Everything about atomic energy is really fascinating to me. There's a point in time I thought about becoming a nuclear engineer because I love nuclear power so much, and everything to do with like atomic, you know, uh, capabilities of mankind. And I also really love history, so this and World War II. So this brings in a little bit of a portion of that. So it's honestly kind of like a historical documentary. It's not, but it stays pretty damn true to the real life events of what actually went on. Um, yeah, they just do a fantastic job in this film portraying the story of Robert Oppenheimer and kind of just what he had to go through the war, what happened after they dropped the bombs, what went on through his head. The visuals in this movie were absolutely stunning, and it was done right. I wish I got to watch it in IMAX. If it ever does come back out in IMAX in the proper way I was supposed to watch it, I will go back and do it because this film is so awesome. One of Christopher Nolan's best works for sure. Yeah. Number, sorry, let me label these because I'm gonna misread them. All right, cool. At number 7, one film that many consider to be the greatest of all time. I think it's certainly up there. To me, it's not the best film ever, but it is a perfect film. A Shawshank Redemption. There's nothing more I would do about this movie. I wouldn't change any visuals. I wouldn't change any acting. This movie is perfectly written. It tells an amazing story. Um, I just think the other movies I had on my list captured a feeling inside of me that I enjoyed more while watching this movie. It captured something, whatever it was about it, whether it was about the plot points itself, whether the story struck more to me. Um, every movie from this point on is nearly perfect to me, and there's almost nothing I would change about it. And yeah, so number 7 is honestly, it could easily be a number 1 for anybody else here. The Shawshank Redemption is easily a perfect movie. There's just nothing I'd change about it. Um, I kind of said this about the Truman Show, but this movie just, it strikes you. The ending's perfect. The one thing that separates a good movie from a great movie to the best movies are the endings, or pivotal scenes in them. For example, major plot twist in them will absolutely enthrall you in a movie and just make you love a movie. Emotional scenes in a movie will make you love a movie. It'll make it strike in your heart. It'll make you cry. It'll make you happy. It'll make you sad. It'll do anything. And A Shawshank Redemption has a perfectly really good emotional story and fantastic twist in it. Number 6, one of the most underrated movies, I would say, in a generation, because it is Christopher Nolan's first work, and not many people actually know about it. Everybody's watched it. I don't think anyone who's watched it says this movie is bad. This movie is nearly the perfect thriller. It's Memento. There is actually slight things I'd maybe change about this movie, but they're only things due to like visual concerns, and the visuals are really good in this movie. It's just it was filmed quite a while ago. It could be slightly updated. It wouldn't really make a difference. It wouldn't boost it up a spot whatsoever. Um, just a fantastic plot to the movie. I think it has a really good premise, following a guy who loses his memory really quickly, and he can't make like short-term memory connections, and just having to play with the idea of what he would do in his life, and the fantastic thrills and twist in the end of this movie. The ending is, I mean, the ending of this movie is perfect. It just makes you go. This one's really similar to another one of Nolan's films, Inception, to where the ending just kind of has your mouth open a little bit. You're like, what? So number 6, I have Memento. I love that movie. And number 5, this one could be 4 or 5. These are basically tied, the next 2 films. I recently watched this too, and it already made the top 5. Number 5 is Parasite. Wow. When I watched this movie, I was like, my mouth was open for the last 10-15 minutes of this entire film. Like, literally this. I couldn't break that trance. My mind was fixated on this movie. I was like, what just happened? because the twists and the turns in this movie were insane. They're more than Memento, more than any movie before this. Nothing took a turn quite like this. This didn't just take a 90 degree. This took a 180 and then did another 180 and then did another 180. It looked like Chloe Kim and Shaun White on the Snowpike out there. It was absolutely just an incredible first watch. This is one of these movies that you watch one time and you're like, wow, that might be the best movie I've ever watched, or one of them, rather. And you rewatch it and you just keep, like, now you know what's going to happen, and you kind of just keep watching. You're like, oh, that happened, that makes sense. Perfectly written. This movie could not be written better. I don't see any really, like, plot points in it, or plot holes in it. Just fantastic. And it tells a better story than, I guess I'm going to make another spoiler for a movie that comes ahead in this list, or that does not come ahead in this list, is Spirited Away. Spirited Away. I think this tells basically the exact same story as Spirited Away, but in a better way, in my opinion. I do think Spirited Away is a little overrated. That's really really controversial to a lot of people. But to me, this shows you really, like, how bad the low class members of society can get, and like how desperate they can be for work, and how much the upper class can exploit people in the lower class. And that, honestly, I think it does a really good job too, telling how the lower class isn't innocent entirely too. They make bad decisions that end up harming them in this film, and it doesn't want you to necessarily feel sorry for them. And the ending to this is, it's sad. It's crazy. So number 4, and also the tied number 4 spot, I think it's a little bit, it's not better written. It's not. This movie isn't perfect, but I love this movie. Super underrated in my opinion. Adam Sandler's best film, Uncut Gems. Super hot take, I know. But this movie is perfect. The first time I watched this movie, I got the same reaction I got from Parasite. That's why I love these films so much. When you're watching this, you don't see this coming at all. The ending, one of the best endings I've ever seen in a film, along with Parasite. These movies are nearly identical, except Parasite probably tells a better story necessarily. It probably tells a better story. However, Uncut Gems tells the story of a gambler gone wrong. He's super addicted, and then his bet hits. And then, and then there's also twists to, like, oh, the first bet hit. And then, people are after his money. And then blah, 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 blah. This movie, it's fantastic. Adam Sandler's best acting, except for maybe, like, Billy Madison of his works. It's a super serious film. It never tries to make itself a joke. And I really respect that about this. I absolutely love and adore this film. And I know it's a really underrated film to a lot of people, but you have to pay attention when you're watching this movie. Number 3, Christopher Nolan's best work, Interstellar. The first time I watched this movie, it was probably like 1 or 2 a.m. with my brother. And I finished it at like 4 in the morning. And we just looked at each other. We're like, that's one of the best movies I've ever seen. This could easily take the number 2 spot on my list. But the number 2 spot on my list is really emotional and near and dear to my heart. Interstellar tells a fantastic sci-fi movie film. It's a fantastic sci-fi movie. It tells a fantastic story. It's really heartwarming. And, the visuals in this movie are absolutely perfect. Like, honestly, any Nolan film, along with, like, Oppenheimer, going to have fantastic visuals, amazing acting, and a really good story. There's not too much more to say about this film other than watch it. It's really fantastic. And number 2, a lot of people's number 1 spot, and a little bit controversial among younger people my age. The best of its franchise, without a doubt, Empire Strikes Back. This is the Star Wars movie. You could argue that A New Hope is actually better because it laid the groundwork for the films ahead of it. However, Empire Strikes Back has the perfect, if you haven't watched Empire Strikes Back, turn off the video and go watch it now. Actually go watch A New Hope now, because you haven't watched Empire Strikes Back. You definitely haven't watched A New Hope. but watch it now. Some major spoiler. Um, it's really popular in pop culture, so if you haven't heard it, I don't know how. So please watch it. Please cover your ears. Okay. When it's revealed that Darth Vader is Luke's father, I don't remember that when I was a kid. I really don't. I know, I was showed 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3 when I was a child, but you don't remember it. I was probably like 3 years old when I watched Star Wars for the first time. Before I could even talk, I was humming the Imperial March. I was still in diapers. That's how much the Star Wars franchise means to me. Um, I'm about as big of a Star Wars fan as you'll ever find. I have some Star Wars memorabilia in this room. I was wearing a Star Wars shirt today, um, and just it captures a perfect. It's just a perfect movie. It's super well directed. The acting's good. The visuals are fantastic. In George Lucas's earlier works, he used a lot of practical effects, so they age fantastically. Despite the fact that that this film was filmed, that this movie was filmed many years ago. It ages fantastically. It ages a lot better than movies that came out at the same time because of the practical effects. The space scenes are just as good as they'd be in necessarily the prequels, to be honest, and even the sequels. You could argue they're a little bit better, but the practical effects just age really wonderfully. The lightsaber fights in this film are really good, and the emotional plot points just really strike you. Now to get on to the number one film. I know not many people have this film at number one. My friend tried to say my number three, my Interstellar, was my number one movie. I've never said that in my life. I never will say it because for people who know me, know that Finding Nemo, Finding Nemo, this is like a little rocket in it, The Color of Nemo, is my favorite movie of all time. I think it's the best movie ever made. If you know anything about me, I love water. I love the ocean. I love animals, and I love fish, especially. Nemo just struck something in me since I was a child. There's never been a time I can remember when I didn't like Nemo. I just grew up watching this film, and the more and more I watch it, the older I get. Honestly, the more like emotional it becomes in a way. Just Marlin losing his wife. Um, in the very first scene, it gets you. From the first scene, this movie has you hooked. A lot of these other films, such as Parasite and Uncut Gems, don't necessarily get amazing until the very end of this film. Finding Nemo starts off really strong, and it never gets worse. It still gets sad. You think Nemo's lost. Well, I guess you don't really, but you don't know like how Marlin's gonna get him. Um, the animation is still, it aged perfectly. This movie came out in 2003, I want to say. That makes it 22 years old, just a little bit older than me. But this film, the visuals are honestly amazing. They captured the way water moves perfectly, and that opening scene. I'm just gonna rant about Nemo for a little. The opening scene with that little purple, like almost amoeba shaped sea thing that looks like almost like a rug or an amoeba. Is purple. The music in this film are just perfect. That opening scene just honestly just makes me want to go. It makes me want to go diving and go to the Great Barrier Reef and see all these amazing creatures that live in our oceans. This movie has everything for me. It has water in it. I love water. Water is probably the most integral thing to my like entire life. Not from a physical standpoint, as in we all need water to survive, but my entire life has been surrounded by water, and I've been in it all the time, and it's been really important to me. I've actually made some money doing things in water. Um, I've made money swimming and stuff like that. I mean, not a lot, but like a little tiny bit. I've gotten like scholarships from it and whatnot. I made a lot of friends swimming. Uh, I just love the water. I've always loved the water. I love Nemo, and this movie strikes every emotional plot point possible for a human. And if you haven't watched Finding Nemo, watch Finding Nemo. It's a perfect film. Um, Please let me know if you want to see more. I'll probably do the top 10 animated films of all time next for the animated movies. Obviously, number one will be Finding Nemo. But see, guys, let me know your top 10 movie list. And this list could be changed somewhat. There's a couple movies I debated putting on here that I did not put on here. But I felt I had to have The Godfather on here.